I will have to build a Premier League winning team. But the twist is, every player costs their age. So a player like Lamine Yamal will only cost 18 million because he's 18 years old. But on the other hand, an older player, such a Messi, will cost 38 million because he's 38 years old. We have a budget of 450 million in total. That sounds like a lot. But if we sign a lot of experienced players, that budget will go down quickly. And the goal will be to build a Premier League winning team. Let's not waste time and make our first signing, which obviously has to be Lamine Yamal.
And all time.
I will have to build a Premier League winning team. But the twist is, every player costs their age. So a player like Lamine Yamal will only cost 18 million because he's 18 years old. But on the other hand, an older player, such a Messi, will cost 38 million because he's 38 years old. We have a budget of 450 million in total. That sounds like a lot. But if we sign a lot of experienced players, that budget will go down quickly. And the goal will be to build a Premier League winning team. Let's not waste time and make our first signing, which obviously has to be Lamine Yamal. He's 86 rated, but because he's only 18 years old, he will only cost us 18 million instead of his original price, which is around 150 million. So that's a good start and a good addition to our attack already. But it won't be so easy from now on, because we are only allowed to sign 2 players from the same age, so we have to actually be smart with our signings. But we've already gotten an attacker for now, so we need a midfielder who can support Lamine Yamal. I could sign De Bruyne, who has a lot of experience in the Premier and have even won multiple Premier League titles. But he's 34 years old, so that will cost us a lot. So instead, I'm looking at someone like Jude Bellingham, who's only 22 years old, and that's who I have signed. So Jude Bellingham is our second signing, only costing us 22 million. So that's a good signing. But we have to be careful, because that now means we can only sign one more player that's 22 years old. And I feel like there is a lot of good players at that age. So it will be tough to choose, but we've got an attacker and a midfielder. Let's get a defender next, because if we want to win the Premier League, we need a good defense to not concede many goals. We could take Van Dijk and sign him. So we get a good defender, and Liverpool loses their best one. But because he's old, that means he's more expensive. But I think for this one time, let's just do it. I have actually signed Van Dijk for 34 million. That strengthens our defense, but it also weakens Liverpool's. So that's a very tactical signings from us. But we need someone to pair up with Van Dijk. And we do have a few options. Saliba could be great because he's only 24, but that also means we use one of our 24-year-old signings. Or there is Hincapié, who's only 23. But I think it's very important to have a strong defense to win the Premier League. So let's take William Saliba. And that's also one of Arsenal's defenders, so also a tactical signing. So far, we have made solid signings, but we're missing a goalkeeper. Now, there aren't a lot of young goalkeepers that are good. The youngest keeper, which is somewhat decent, would be Restes, only 20 years old. But he's also only 78 rated. And if we want that Premier League title, we need a world-class goalkeeper. We could take Alisson, who's 89, but he also costs 32 million. Or Wood could be smart and take Donnarumma, who's only 26 years old. But that would also mean we can only sign one more 26-year-old after him. But you know what? I won't even pick one of those two. I will take Mamardashvili, who's 24 years old, so only 24 million. And he's a solid keeper. But that's now our second 24-year-old signed, so we can't sign any more 24-year-olds to the team. We also have to remember we need bench players. So let's get a bench goalkeeper. I don't want to waste a big amount of the budget on an old bench goalkeeper, so let's just get the youngest, somewhat decent keeper. There is this Martinelli guy who's only 19 years old. Not the Martinelli from Arsenal, but the one from Fiorentina. He's actually only worth around 2 million, but we have to sign him for 19 million because he's 19 years old. Yeah, that's not ideal, but at least we have a bench goalkeeper now. But I think we should go for another midfielder now. We could take Martin Odegaard, who's 26, or we maybe Valverde, who's also only 27. Or you know what? Why not just take both? So I have now signed Odegaard, but also Valverde, because why the hell not? We haven't signed anyone in those age ranges, so we still get one more in each of those, and it didn't cost much of our budget as well. But we do only have 256 million. We've already spent almost half of our budget, and we have only signed 8 players. We need at least 10 more players, so we need to be more smart. I think let's use our young age signings, because we haven't signed anyone at 17 years old, and the best 17-year-old is the new Madrid talent Franco Mastantuono, so I have now signed him. The best 18-year-old besides Lamine Yamal is his teammate Pau Cubarsí. He's 81, rated at only 18 years old, so that's a very solid bench center back. But that's also our second second 18-year-old signing, so no more from that age. Now for 19, we already have one 19-year-old signing, which is our bench keeper, so we can only sign one more. But who should we sign? We could take Endrick, who's a solid bench striker, or Zaire Emery as a bench midfielder. It's between these two. I think let's just go with the best option, which is Zaire Emery, and that's another bench midfielder, so 202 million left. But before we complete the last few bench signings, let's go ahead and sign a left winger. Now we still have a ton of money to spend. Kvaratskhelia could have been a good option, but we are not allowed to sign any more 24-year-olds, so I will actually just sign the best left winger on the game, which is Vinicius Jr. Only 25 million pounds for him. That's a strong and great addition to our team. Okay, let's finish off the defense now. We need a left back and a right back. Let's start with the left back. The best left back on the game is Theo Hernandez, who's 26 years old. There is also a younger option in Gvardiol for only 23 million, but we still have 177 million. So I will just sign the best option here, which is Theo Hernandez. But that's our second 26-year-old signing, so no more players at that age, which means we miss out on Mbappe. So maybe I messed up a little, but I think our team will survive without him. But for right back, we have a few options. The three best right backs on the game, Hakimi, Trent, and Koundé, are all 26 years old, so we actually can't sign them. Carvajal is also really good, but he's 33 years old, so that's old and expensive. So instead, I have gone with Ben White, who's 27 years old, but that's now also 27 locked off now. So the only missing position in the starting 11 is the striker, and we can't sign Mbappe, Lautaro Martinez, or even Victor Osimhen. But before I decide who we sign there, let's get our last few bench players. We need some bench fullbacks. So I've first of all taken Balde, who's only 21 years old, and also Malo Gusto for right back at 22 years old, but that's now also 22 locked. But I've actually also signed Mohamed Salah. Yes, he's 33 years old and expensive, and yes, we have Lamine Yamal, but we have the money, and I will actually start him over Lamine Yamal. And we still have 47 million left for two final signings, our two strikers. And the first signing will actually be John Duran, the Aston Villa talent that went to the Saudi League, but that will actually not be our starting striker. He is going into the bench, because that now leaves us with 26 million left to sign one player. But we can't actually sign a striker who's 26 years old because we've already signed two players at that age. But that doesn't matter because there is one player we can get, and that's Erling Haaland, the Norwegian goal-scoring machine. He's only 25 years old, so that's our final signing to this amazing team. I feel like I've genuinely done an amazing job here. Look at that attack. It's insane. Maybe I should have gotten a better keeper, but no going back now. I've actually failed so many challenges, so let's see if today is finally the day I complete a challenge in one of my videos. Or am I just cursed? Let's simulate till the end and see if they can win the Premier League. Okay, I have now simulated until the very end of the season. But before I show if I finally completed a challenge, go down right now and subscribe. Reveal. Anyways, let's see if I have actually won the Premier League. Okay, so we obviously didn't get relegated. I would be surprised if we did. Didn't finish bottom half. No 9, 8, or 7. Not even 6, 5, or 4. Damn, we got third. Why can I never actually complete a challenge? Anyways, leave a like if you liked this video and comment what experiment or challenges I should try to do next.